Good morning, students. I hope you have understood some part of the chapter, as this is your 10th standard, as you know. We are on the second chapter in bio. First chapter we have completed, that is life processes. I'm just reminding you so that you people are ready for your board exams, okay? Then next chapter which we have already started is chapter 7, control and coordination. In that we have studied animals nervous system. In that we have covered how nerve impulses are transferred from one neuron to another neuron. Then we have discussed here the various receptors, okay. Then we discussed about reflex action, reflex arc. Then we discussed about human brain, right, parts of human brain: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Then we discussed about how are these tissues protected, how your brain is protected, that we have already discussed. Then we discussed about how does the nervous tissue cause action, what changes it will bring in the muscle tissue due to actin and myosin. Those things we have discussed. Human brain diagram is important, it can come for labeling in the exam. Then here these in-text questions, I hope you all have completed. Then next topic which we already had covered is coordination in plants. There are two type of movements: nastic movements and tropic movements. Nastic movements are what? Which are not leading to growth, whereas tropic movements will lead to growth. Nastic movements here, that means we have discussed about touch me not plant, we have discussed about sunflower, okay. Then movement which will lead to growth, here various type. Tropism we have discussed: phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, thigmotropism, hydrotropism. So 5 types of tropism here and the examples of it. Please remember this. Then we discussed one more example, in this thigmotropism we discussed about tendril example. The tendril is growing around the support. Phototropism, we discussed that in a dark room here. If you keep a plant, it is going to bend towards, the stem is going to bend towards the light. Who is responsible? Oxygen is responsible, that we have discussed. Then geotropism, roots are always positively geotropic and they are negatively phototropic. So that also we have discussed, that you tilt the pot and after few days you will observe that roots are growing towards the ground and stem is bending and growing towards the sunlight. This figure 7.6 on page number 121, this diagram was asked this year. As I told you, this diagram is of more importance, okay. It was asked last year. Then we discussed about the chemotropism. In that we discussed that here how stigma will check pollens whether it belongs to their species or not. If it belongs to their species, then only it is going to provide the nutritive material, that is sucrose, and then it will develop pollen tube, then fertilization takes place. So that response is what? Chemotropism. Then we discussed about, yes, the difference between electrical impulses and chemical impulses. What are the limitations of electrical impulses? That also we have discussed. Now today here we'll complete the last topic and some few points from the second last topic, that is plant hormones, right? Plant hormones are also known as phytohormones. Now the way we have hormones in our body, in the same way here plants do not have nervous tissue, but we have nervous tissue also, as well as we have chemical coordination also. So they both are working together, whereas in plants here they have hormones which are going steadily and persistently, okay. So here we will talk about different type of hormones. Now moving on further to the differences between electrical impulses and chemical impulses. Let's find out whether electrical impulses are fast or chemical impulses are fast. Come to page number 122. Electrical impulses are an excellent means for the communication, but there are limitations to the use of electrical impulses. Please underline, these are the limitations. They can ask in the board examination. The first is they will reach only those cells that are connected by the nervous tissue, right? If there is no nervous tissue, no neurons here, electrical impulses won't reach there, right? Not each and every cell in the animal body. Secondly, second point, once an electrical impulse is generated in a cell and transmitted, the cell will take some time to reset its mechanism before it can generate and transmit a new impulse. See, these are the two limitations. The first limitation here is that wherever you have nervous tissue, there only you can receive the electrical impulses. Second limitation here is that once electrical impulse is generated, it is being passed on, in that duration of time, it will not receive a new impulse, okay.
and it will need some time to reset, fraction of seconds to reset its mechanism, and then it is ready to receive another stimulus. Okay. Then if I talk about in other words, cells cannot continually create and transmit electrical impulses. It is thus no wonder that most multicellular organisms use another means of communication between cells, namely chemical communication, right. If instead of generating an electrical impulse, stimulated cells release a chemical compound, the way hormones are being released, this compound would diffuse all around the original cell. If other cells are around them having same means to detect this compound, if they have receptors to sense it, then they would be able to recognize information and even transmit it, right. So if I talk about the hormones, hormones are being released, but here it will reach to those cells only, right. It will be allowed to enter in those cells only where it is having receptors to sense it. Definitely this will be slower, but it can potentially reach all cells of the body regardless of nervous connections, and it can be done steadily and persistently. These compounds or hormones used by multicellular organisms for control and coordination show a great deal of diversity, right. Different plant hormones help to coordinate growth, development and responses to the environment. They are synthesized at places away from where they act and simply diffuse to the area of action. So, children, you are supposed to underline these two paragraphs, read it again and try to find out the differences between them, right. Now, moving on further, let us talk about the plant hormones, which is also known as phytohormones. It is a 1-mark question. They help in control and coordination in plants. They are present in very small quantities in plant tissues, produced in any part of the plant and transmitted to other parts by diffusion. See this flow chart, plant hormones which are growth promoters as well as they are growth inhibitors. How many growth promoter hormones do we have? We have auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins. These are 3 growth promoters. Growth inhibitors we have ethylene and abscisic acid. Okay, plant hormones, as we have discussed, there are 5 types of plant hormones and they are divided on the basis of growth promoters and growth inhibitors. So, first of all, let us discuss about growth promoters, auxin, gibberellins, cytokinins. Okay, auxin, they are produced at the shoot tip and the root tip. They help in growth of the stem. They both, gibberellins also, if you see, they also help in vegetative growth, the cell growth, cell enlargement, all these things will be done by auxin and gibberellins. Then we have cytokinins, they also help in cell division. They also are present in fruits and seeds. If you see fruits and seeds, they also need, more cell number. So, that is done by the cytokinins. So, these 3 are the growth promoters. Then we have growth inhibitors, abscisic acid or ABA, and then ethylene. Now, these are the natural hormones which are released by the plants. There are artificial hormones available in the market, in the form of injections it is given to the plant. If I talk about abscisic acid, it inhibits growth and induces wilting of leaves. It causes, senescence, aging in the plant. It's going to stop the growth of the plant, right? Ethylene, it helps in ripening of the fruit. From raw fruit, it changes to ripe fruit, and that is done by ethylene. It is the only gaseous hormone. Ethylene is the only gaseous hormone. Remember all these functions, it's a 5-mark question. Now, let us see activity 7.2, come to page number 121. Okay, this is also very important activity. Many a times it is asked in a 5-mark question also. Place wire mesh on a conical flask with water on it. Place 2 or 3 germinated bean seeds on wire mesh. Keep the conical flask in a cardboard box. Okay. Keep the open side of the box facing light coming from window. Leave it for 3 days. The way I told you, keep a healthy potted plant in a dark room. You will observe that it is a dark room, but if you allow some light to enter from one corner of the room, you will observe that stem is bending towards the light. This is phototropism. Let's see what will happen here in the germinated seeds. This is the observation. Shoot bends and moves towards the light. Can you see here? there's a dark room, the cardboard is open only from one side, okay, and then light is coming from the window, you will see the roots will move away from the light and shoot will move towards the light. So roots are showing negative phototropism and shoots are showing positive phototropism. Rearrange the flask so that the shoots are away from the light and roots are towards the light. Leave it undisturbed for few days. Again, if you want to check, you do it other ways, right? Observation, old parts of the root and shoot will change their direction. They will again change. Shoot will go towards the light and roots will grow away from the light towards the gravity. There will be differences in the growth of shoot. Conclusion, light influences the direction of growth of shoot. That means here light will influence. It is phototropism, response to the light. That's why it is showing. Now if I give you one more example, come to page number 122. When growing plants, second last paragraph, all of you underline that. When growing plants detect light, a hormone called auxin, synthesized at the shoot tip, helps the plant to grow longer. When light is coming from one side of the plant, can you see in the previous diagram, when light is coming from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady part of the shoot. That means it is bending. So the cells which are on the other side, right, wherever shade part, where there is no light, need to divide more fast. Okay, there more requirement of cell is there. Why? Because it has to bend. Whereas the cells which is towards the inner side, towards the light, which is facing the light, there the number of cells will be less. Whereas here on the other side, the number of cells will be more because of the hormone called auxin. Okay. So this concentration of auxin stimulates the cells to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is away from light. Thus the plant appears to bend towards light. Okay children, I hope you have understood this. Okay children, today we have completed phytohormones, difference between electrical and chemical impulses. Okay, remember that, it's on page number 122. Then we have discussed about the function of each hormone, which are growth inhibitors, which are growth promoters. Now we'll be discussing in-text questions, and the last topic we'll be covering in the next class, that is hormones in animals. Please read the chapter, all of you read the chapter thoroughly, and then only you sit for the class. Okay children, now let's see one video.